Kindergarten through 2nd grade. This is your week 7 distant learning art lesson. This week we're going to create bugs in a jar, and you're going to draw yourself holding the jar. So we're going to look at some artists who work strictly with drawing bugs, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I'm going to show you an example of how to draw the jar and how to draw yourself holding the jar as part of this video. The bugs that go in the jar can be real, well, don't put real bugs on your paper, but you could draw like a real looking butterfly or a real looking ant, or you can totally make up your own bugs. And I think that would be even more fun. You guys can totally create your own bugs and what they look like. And then when you're all done drawing, you're going to color. So in my drawing, I'm going to draw straight in pen so that you can see what I'm doing, because it's hard to see with the pencil. But you guys should draw first in pencil, add color, and have fun with this. So stay tuned. You're going to see some artists who work with bugs as their subject for art, and then we're going to look at how to draw this project to get you started, to how to draw the person holding the jar, because the hand is going to have some different proportions than the body, because the body is going to be small but your hand's going to look big because it's going to be close to you. And then I'll show you how to draw the jar to make it look like it's three-dimensional. Okay? Hope you have a great week. I look forward to seeing your stuff. You guys have been doing a great job for me. Keep up the good work. Bye. Lucy Arnold was born in 1954 in California. She studied biology, which means it's a form of science. And then she loves nature and design and working with small details and colors. So she really finds joy in working with bugs and butterflies and those patterns that they create. Rosalind Monks. She likes to split her time between the ocean and the ski slopes, and she loves nature. Her art form takes on these like coloring book pages of different nature objects like bugs and animals. Kelly Stanford is a scientific artist. She likes to use art to help teach science. And so she does these great bug illustrations. She works on black paper with colored pencils. She also has some other different forms. She does sculpture and painting, but I just love these bug sculptures or these bug drawings. They're so very cool. Christopher Marley, he works with actual insects that are dead that he gets in a way that's okay for the environment, and he uses the bugs to create different designs. Radial design, which starts in the center and works its way out, like the top two pictures. He does symmetrical balance, which if you fold it in half, it would look the same on both sides. And then he also does asymmetrical, which is the picture on the bottom where he just uses the patterns and the colors of the bugs to create a different design, but both halves are different. So if you fold it in half, it's not the same. So again, this is Christopher Marley, and he uses real bugs. Okay, so we're going to learn how to draw a jar. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the top of the jar, and we're going to start with a small skinny oval. Now depending on how big you make the oval depends on how much of the top of the jar you see. So I'm going to start by making a pretty good sized jar. Okay, so there's the top of my oval. On one side I'm going to go down, on the other side I'm going to go down, and then I'm going to try to follow this curve as best I can underneath. So I'm going to go from here, just like that. Okay, and then these jars, sometimes they have details on the top, so I could even draw, a little detail up here, or you could leave it blank. You can make the jar look open, or you can make the jar look closed. If it's closed, then your bugs stay inside. Okay, now jars normally have a narrower neck. That's where the top of the jar sits. So this would be the neck of the jar where the lid screws down. So I'm going to come down here and go a little bit longer, and then I'm going to make this jar come out. And your jar can be whatever shape you want. So there's no right or wrong to how you do this part. So come down a little bit. You want to try to make both sides of the jar look the same. You can see I'm having a hard time doing that up here. So I kind of have this big fat jar. And then at the bottom, down here, I want it to have a little bit of a stretched out smiley face. So I'm going to kind of draw. See how it's not flat, it's kind of rounded a little bit. And then down here at the bottom, I don't necessarily want like corners. I want this to be kind of round because jars don't normally have like a 90-degree angle corner on it. Okay, so there's my jar. Now to make jars look see-through, you need to put a reflection on it. Now reflections are those little shiny spots that sometimes you can see, like we would look at each other's eyes in the classroom and you could see the reflection of the lights. We're going to do a reflection on the jar. Either side, doesn't matter which side you pick, just pick one side. And it just kind of looks like that. Okay, sometimes you see a reflection that's kind of two parts to show, but notice it's curved like my jar is. I don't want to just make it flat because then the jar will look like it's not curved. Okay, so and then down here at the bottom, I'm going to scoot this up a little. We also want to draw a very light line that shows the bottom inside of the jar, just like this. Okay, that's going to show that the jar is round. So we have a bigger oval down here at the bottom and then the smaller one at the top for the lid. And then we have our lid. Now from here on out you can do whatever you want with the jar, but we want to make it look like our person is holding the jar, and that part gets a little tricky. So our person's going to be over here, and it might not be your whole body. You might not have your whole person in here. It might be part of it, but we're going to start with the hand. Now your hand is going to grab the top of the jar. Okay, so we're going to see fingers on this side. So you have how many fingers? You look at your hand, you have 4 fingers and a thumb. Okay, when you hold something, this is a can, when you hold something, you kind of grab it at the top. So we're going to draw this. I'm trying not to spill the little bit of Sprite, 7-Up that's left. You're going to draw the fingers so you see just the top parts of the fingers holding onto the jar. Okay, so we're just going to kind of draw those fingers. So one, and they're going to look kind of big. 1, 2, 3, and our little finger, which might be turned a different way, just because of how we're holding the jar. Okay, now, right now my fingers are see-through. That's okay. We'll fix those in a minute. And then your fingers, when they hold, they're kind of holding like this, you can see the top part of your hand, but it's going to disappear off the edge of my paper. So I'm just going to have my fingers come up. And then over here, I'm going to show my thumb kind of peeking out on the back side of the lid. Okay, my thumb's kind of hiding on the back side. So we might actually make it look more like this. Now for kindergarten, this might be very hard. So kindergarten, if you just want to draw your jar and then draw yourself over here and maybe have your jar on a table, that would be okay. First and second grade, I want you to try to draw the hand at the top. Give it a try, see if it works or not. You could also draw your hand on the side, but then remember, if you do that, you're going to see your hand in the jar. So I could draw my fingers over here, holding onto the jar, and my thumb, but then you'd see the rest of your hand behind the jar because the jar is see-through. So, and I can show you that. I'll show Now, since my hand goes off the page, be helpful if you could see the page. My hand goes off the page, your arm is going to go up. So I'm going to have my head in here. Now remember, when you draw a head, it's an egg shape. So that's the bottom of my egg, and then the top of my egg would be up here. Remember, the top is where your hair grows, not your eyes. Your eyes are down here, okay? And then your nose, and then your mouth. So your head, that's where your face should be. This should be hair. Okay, that should all be hair. And you can just color that with a crayon, okay? Then you should have a neck and shoulders. Remember, your shoulders don't look like this because they don't suck up towards your ears. They go down. They go down. Except for this one, because this hand is going to be reaching up. We're going to draw this arm coming out like this and then going up. And it's going to get smaller and then bigger because it's going away from you. So it's going to look like it's getting tiny. Oops, sorry, you can't see. And then of course your person needs a body. Remember, your body should be wider than your neck. And a shirt. That we want to put details on, so I'm just going to put this arm like she's got her arm behind her back. Maybe her arm's hiding, and then I could do like a design on the shirt. Okay, and then you could have like shorts on and maybe a zipper. Okay, so I could totally add whatever I want. And then in here is where I'm going to put my bugs. Okay, so maybe just for the sake of time. With bugs, you could have lightning bugs, you could have butterflies, you could totally make up your own bugs like I did down here. It's totally up to you. And then if you want to add a background, you can. You could show like the grass and maybe a flower. Okay, so you could do up the whole page. And then when you're done, take a picture of this, kindergarten and first, send it to my email. Second grade, send it to Google Classroom. I hope you guys have fun with this. And remember, draw yourself. So if, you could draw yourself however you want, short hair, long hair, but try to make it look like you a little bit. Okay? Have a great week, guys. Bye.